Good evening and welcome to the Hamden Online Footy Show. That's right, we're back for another week and well, the great man Greg Eyes Kelson is with us again. And Eyes, we've got a man there, mate, the great Trinity Hill. He's gone there with COVID.
I'll tell you what, for first emergency, mate, I'm the most regular bloke going around. But we wish Hilly all the best. I think obviously in his profession, everything's got to be done 100% right. You know, obviously as a teacher, but we want to do the right thing anyway. But let's hope he's not feeling the effects too much. He'll be back on board.
And there's plenty of people across the region in the football and netball circles especially that have no doubt been battling through COVID over the last couple of weeks, that is for sure. And we expect it to probably continue at some point. You know, there's going to be some interruptions, with some sides and all that, Eyes, but we've just got to get on with things. And talking about getting on with things, magnificent round number one. I just want to give a shout out though to a few of our sponsors. SunGold Milk, of course, major sponsors once again. Their logo's on the footballs, which is absolutely magnificent, looks sensational. Billy Slater and the team, they just support the league so well. Lindock Living, Sue Cassidy, Doreen Power and the crew, wonderful support. They just love doing anything for the local community, which I think is just sensational as well. Magnificent. Power Core, Timmy Rourke, Brian Seeley and the crew, they just get involved, if you know what I mean. No questions asked. They just want to help their local region and get involved. And also McDonald's. They are just so proactive and just wanting to do more in the competition. Anthony Negro and the team. And a new sponsor this year, Southwest Tape, are back on board with the league, which I think is absolutely sensational, as well as our other sponsors in Fresher Fruit Juice. And a big shout out to Chittix Pies. They are the official pie of the Hamden Football Netball League. They are as good as it gets. If you haven't had a Chittix pie, do yourself a favour, Eyes, and get out and get one. This one's straight out of the oven.
Tell me how that one sat so close to you and it hasn't been demolished.
No, I do get a little bit of reflux from just the pastry, so I'm just a little bit careful. I don't want to have a bite while I've still got to do the show. But we love them, okay? So Chittix Pies have been a great supporter and a great sponsor of the Hamden Football Netball League. They have, mate. And the league doesn't exist without wonderful sponsors and support. And we've got a few more that we're going to talk through, of course, tonight. We've got a big show to get through. Chris McLaren, of course, the coach of the Koroit Saints. Always love talking to Macca. He's got a great football brain, hasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Lives and breathes it. He would have come from one sort of footy to the next, and now he's going to talk to us, but he's living it, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely he is. And the coach of the North Warrnambool Eagles, Adam Dowie, going to join us as well. And that is our match of the day this weekend, the North Warrnambool Eagles taking on the Koroit Saints. Will it, Eyes, be a grand final preview?
I know what you're going to say, but plenty of thinking it, of course. And I reckon amongst us tipsters, if you go to a man, I think that was our grand finalists. And so only early doors and be plenty of cards to be played yet, but nonetheless, they're going to be two of the favourites.
Absolutely, mate. And just a quick shout out, and I know we've spoken about it on Hamden League Live. Our great mate, Clinton Bolsh, Big Bolshy as we knew him, mate. We absolutely love the big man. He was so passionate about football, netball, anything in our local community, Eyes. And he's just going to be really missed, mate.
Absolutely.
And I know the league's got some really good ideas, especially around that under 23 age bracket, which Bolshy was such a big believer in. And that competition was fantastic, mate.
Absolutely, and I know Backer will. I'm sure he'll concur in just a moment. Just going to miss that swagger where he just pop up from anywhere he would, and just be wandering across and be gone like a flash as well. But
it was stealth-like, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But plenty of people called into work and rang again this week and, have sent their condolences. Even a lot of people have mentioned to me, I didn't actually know him, but want to pass on their regards. So well respected, enormously respected, and he'll be sorely missed. And I don't think we still... the full impact of what we've lost has hit us yet, because he did a lot for the community, didn't he?
My oath, mate, and it was great. I got the text message come through from a couple of people on Saturday afternoon when I left the commentary box that Tommy Bolsh had kicked the goal.
That was brilliant. That was brilliant. That gave us a real kick in the rooms up at the Warrnambool Footy Club, and I couldn't wait to get home, and I had actually zeroed in so I could have a look at that footage. All the Koroit boys, as you'd expect, got around him, and it was a great place for Tommy to be on Saturday afternoon, because you know, just a little distraction for what's been and is a very tough time.
Yeah, spot on. Absolutely. Let's have a look back at the highlights of our Hammond League Live match of the day, and it was the Portland Tigers taking on the Warrnambool Blues. And the first quarter, I must admit, the Tigers looked very, very sharp, didn't they, Eyes? And Tommy Sharp kicked.
Sharp.
That's pardon the pun, but this is the first goal. Senior football goal in the pocket. It was a magnificent kick, and that really set the tone for the Portland Tigers. They just started off so well, Eyes, didn't they?
Yeah, and that goal was at the hockey end of the ground, where normally that pocket, at the best of times, is probably a difficult one to be kicking goals from. But with the makeup of the oval now, and even within the boundary, inside the boundary, you get a bit of room to work.
Yeah.
But having said that, Tommy Sharp was sharp because he was a bit too nimble, actually, when he was on Chittick early, and you know, when the ball hit the ground in particular, he was right on it. He's going to have a good year.
And Damien McCorkle too, back for the Blues. Look at that work, just that grunt work. He's
and
just
straight into it, isn't it?
Mate, he's a ripper. They've missed him, the Blues. Don't worry about that. And he's going to be a really pivotal player. Second quarter highlights now, and we must say too, Eyes, the read over the surface, the feedback, brilliant. The rooms, everything was absolutely A1. Still, there's a little bit to do. We told the people that on Saturday, but it is just magnificent.
He's your man, Stutchbury.
Stutchbury, mate. He was impressive too, wasn't he, Stutchbury?
Oh, they've just got. I made the comment several times through the day. They've just got such an even band. You know, to name perhaps 5 or 6 of their best players would have been a very hard call from Portland because they were just so even.
And this kid too, Otto Opperman, mate, he had it on a string in the first quarter for the Warrnambool Football Club. I was super impressed.
He's come up a notch.
He has, mate. Yeah. He's had a bit of time down at Bowen Heads, and I love him. I've always loved him. He's sporting the number 54. John Florence, I used to call him. He likes the surfing, the great man. And good to see him back in the navy blue colours, that is for sure. Aaron Shepherd, another kid that's really going places. He moves across the ground very well, the big fella. Timmy O'Keefe and him had a cracking duel on the weekend. It was kind of toed and froed all day. Yeah. But all in all, it was a really good game of football. Harry Ryan's a young kid for the Blues. He goes back and slots this. This is what I loved about the kid. Eyes, he took it upon himself and he just said, you know what, we need a goal at the moment, and he went back and delivered. And
he is a goal kicker, we know that. Probably, to be fair to a lot of the Warrnambool forwards, it didn't get there a heap on Saturday, did it? And even when it did, I think some of the passes into the forward line weren't brilliant. So they'll improve for sure. But just to the naked eye, Portland were just too quick and too nimble for them on Saturday.
I was really impressed. I really was. And I kind of preempted this because, there's a lot of talk around the competition, just about, there's a bit of buzz and a bit of hype about Portland. And I think they showed that on the weekend. You could tell everyone's up and about. They've had a big pre-season, Eyes. And I think Jared Holt is really doing a magnificent job. There's Sharp again, gets a handball out, and Shepherd's going to finish here for a nice little goal. Good teamwork. And they were challenged a couple of times, Eyes.
They were, and the minute they hit back again. I reckon maybe at one stage Warrnambool did get 3 in a row, but generally speaking, it was when they got a goal, Portland hit back. And they've got some dilemmas at Portland in terms of good dilemmas because they've got a number of players that... from a selection point of view, they played the 2 ruckmen on Saturday, for example, which probably may not happen all year because we're so used to their big fella there, Rennie, doing all the work. But the young fella that came in and rucked was terrific as well. And
I must give this kid a bit of a shout out. Benedict Howard, he looks like he's taken things up a notch again. He's a good young kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders. And I think Parky would be very happy that this kid's decided he's going to come back and play for the Blues, and he's got something to work with, hasn't he?
Well, I made the comment too, he's a cousin of Simon Madden's. And he's a bit more Justin Madden-like though. He's still a bit awkward, but he is. But
he's like
he's developing. Absolutely. But he's pretty handy, just the same.
Yeah, and that was a good goal too from outside 50 from the big man, Big Moo Cowling. He moved well too. Don't worry about that. He'll be better for the run.
Yeah.
Haylock was great to be back. For Paul, and just gives that little bit of experience, doesn't he? Especially down back, which is probably what they like. They just needed that experienced kind of player.
And English too. Slot him in.
And English was good, wasn't he?
Yeah, as good as the young fellas are, he just just gives them so much grunt and leadership. You know?
Oh, good mark there by Cowling. That
that was a
had
ripper.
to be a Matco
That
hire.
got the mark of the day.
Well, there you
Matthew.
go. That's the Matco hire mark of the day. So we must give a shout out to Tractor Smith, and he's got a couple of large pizzas, all thanks to Town and Country Pizza as well. So
He'll clean them up.
won't he? Big move. He'd be one foul swoop.
Entree.
For the big fella, that is for sure. Hey, other results. Let's have a look at round one action. Cobden, South Warrnambool. The Roosters got the job done pretty comfortably, guys. 15-20, 110 to 8-8, 56. Probably no surprise there. They're just workmanlike South, and they're looking good, and it was good to see Weir and a few of these die and a few of these new recruits get amongst the goal kickers.
Yeah, exactly right. And what South's picked up only adds to what is already a very good list. So it'll just be interesting to see, and take nothing away from Cobden, but we get a few games in, and South are playing some of the maybe sides that are rated a bit better, and just maybe see where South sits.
Absolutely, and the other big one there was the North Warrnambool Eagles. I think Port Fairy, now correct me if I'm wrong, Oz, I think they kicked the first 4 goals of the game.
Oh, it was because we were sort of looking at each other when it might have been, it was 4 goals to 1 anyway, I think, so you might be exactly right, but didn't kick many after that.
Well, 37 goals for the North Warrnambool Eagles. Dylan Parrish, and I tell you, I saw him in the offseason. He's looking super fit. Great man, too, and he's a good footballer, Parrish.
Oh, great
He's
player.
kicked 7. Vardy's kicked 6, and Chop's kicked 6, Chopper Lewis. Ominous signs for a really productive forward line, and I'm looking forward to talking to Mac and not too far away to find out how he's going to nullify the big forward line and some good talent down there.
Yeah, I mean, for Vardy to slip straight into it the way he did. And Parrish, whenever he's out there, like he's had a few niggles with his body, etc. But whenever he plays, he's a very good player.
Oh, he's one of the best, I reckon, when he's going.
I agree.
A couple of games last year I thought, gee whiz, this bloke can absolutely tell him. Camperdown defeating Terrain Mortlake, I think it was about 24 points in the end. That was a good victory, and good to see them for Murray Swain. Just to spark him up just a little bit and give him a little bit of a boost. Koroyd obviously had a really great victory over the Hamilton Kangaroos. And our match of the day, obviously, the Portland Tigers defeated the Warrnambool Blues. Let's have a look at the ladder after one round of action. And as you can imagine, the North Warrnambool Eagles with a huge percentage sitting on top. So North Warrnambool, Croydon South, Portland, Camperdown. I'm going to ask you this. I know it's only one round in, Eyes, but is it going to change?
Oh, fifth definitely, I think. Or when I say definitely,
Yeah.
well and truly, so could fourth. Top 3, gee, there'd be a lot of punters would want to take that trifecta.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. But Portland's the one. Portland's the one that might continue to improve.
I like Portland. I think they're going to have to play at their best to knock off one of those top 3 teams.
They're up and about early as a rule too, so
Yeah,
then
run
they've got to
hard.
sustain it, don't they?
Absolutely. Hey, just go through some of the award winners too. So the Lucas Brothers snag of the day, and we must thank Pete Harris and the crew down there. Magnificent award. Harry Ryan for the goal of the day, and that was that goal right in front of the commentary box.
Valuable one too.
55 metres out. Wasn't an easy kick for the youngster, and he just slotted it and took it upon himself, as I said. So he takes out the Lucas Brothers snag of the day. Sammy Cowling, we saw that grab. That was an absolute sensational mark. That was our Matco hire highlight of the day. It was absolutely sensational. He took a couple of their mood, to be honest, right throughout the day. Matthews, Petroleum Player of the Day, went to Tommy Sharp. He kicked 5 goals for the Portland Tigers. Ex-coach, in good nick. Looks like he's had a really good pre-season and thoroughly deserved Matthews Petroleum Player of the Day.
Yeah, absolutely. Having said that, and I reckon we made the comment that the top 3 players at Portland, it could have almost gone in any order, but we thought he was perhaps the main difference with the hitting the scoreboard.
Absolutely, and also our Southwest Tool of the Week. Now, little
Controversial.
It is a little bit controversial this week, but we're going to have a bit of fun with it because this stuff, there's no place for it. This is the runner. This is the runner on Luke Cody. He got absolutely manhandled there, did Codes, and I think the runner, and you can see Holdy, I don't imagine is very happy with what's happened to his play here. Poor old Codes. He's just doing his job. He's in those magnificent yellow Nike boots, and the runner's just got a little bit hot under the collar. And, well, we're going to give him the tool of the week. And, as I said, Holdy, I don't think overly happy. He's got to face the tribunal. Unfortunate. I think he's had a brain fade.
Wasn't it? You know, and I know for a fact that Holdy wasn't very pleased because he doesn't want that image for his football club. And, as I said, I hope we move on quickly, but I'm saying it's just a silly thing to do.
Best thing the kid could do, I reckon, is just apologise.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone, ring up the Warrnambool Footy Club,
Yeah.
ring up Parky, ring up Luke Cody. I've had a brain fade, boys. You know, we
So-
love what you're doing at Portland.
And I've got to say, it did happen very, very quickly. Like,
Yeah,
Cody was
heat
on
of the
top
moment.
of him quickly, and,
Yeah.
you know, it all... Not that that's an excuse for it, but I'm saying I think there'll be worse things we'll see in footy.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, let's move along to our special guest. Always love talking to this bloke. It is our Hammond League Live match of the day this weekend. Chris McLaren is the coach of the Koroyd Saints. Mac has been kind enough to join us. How are you, buddy?
G'day, Stewie. Eyes, how you going, fellas?
Good, mate. Thank you.
Mac, I just want to touch on it. It's been a really tough 7 or 8 days for the Koroyd Football Club, for the Koroyd community. We just spoke off the top about our great mate Bolshy, and I know, Macca, you were very close with Clinton as well, mate. And people mightn't realise, but Bolshy was actually doing your recruiting during the off-season for the Saints. He's done sponsorship, he's done recruiting, he just absolutely loves it. And I didn't realise, I must admit, this is a funny story, I had a bloke ring up from up north and he was looking for a couple of footballers, and I said, yeah, I got one. You know, if you got some coin in that, he'll certainly maybe be looking for. He just had a little kid. And Timmy McIntyre, who we all love, is a superstar. And I said, oh, give the big fella a call. He might be keen, I don't know. He lives in Geelong. And Bolshy rings me up, Macca, and he said, mate, what are you doing? I said, what do you mean? He goes, I'm doing the recruiting at Koroyd. And he said, and
You're in?
Big Waffler says you're trying to get rid of him. I said, I actually did not even know. I apologised. And the big fella we had a bit of a chuckle about it, that is for sure. But he's just a wonderful human, Macca, wasn't he? He just wanted to help, and he's just a ripper.
Yeah, he was. He's great for our footy club, mate. He was doing recruiting. He was basically like footy manager for me, really. Him, and we've sort of got a couple of guys that sort of fill that role for us. But yeah, he was brilliant with his, you know, just with the time and the energy, and he was just a doer. He just got things done when you guys know him so well as well. But yeah, it's been a horrible week, to be honest with you. And but you know, the way Simon and the Bolsh family have handled it have been unbelievable, and you know the boys have rallied around us. Footy clubs are so good at that stuff, and I know ours is. And yeah, it was a terrible week, but you know Tom's done a great job, and he was brilliant on Saturday.
Every conversation you had with Bolshy, you had a grin, didn't you? Like, he was an ideas man. Some of them very, very abstract and out there, but he was just absolutely full of ideas. And I know, Macca, from a footy club point of view, he would have been out there rallying as one of the workers, and then if it didn't work out, he'd just tip in and do it himself. So, yeah, wonderful, wonderful fella. But as I said, I think you probably the same, but what we're going to miss the most was his humour, and he absolutely loved his sport, and I know he certainly had a lot of time for that Koroyd Football Netball Club, mate. So, yeah, our thoughts are with you people out there too.
And can I just say, mate, I think how you guys, the club, have handled it has been absolutely unbelievable. You got the box for the Bolsh and the Fleming families, and they all got up there to spend it together and have a bit of a day at the footy. And Mac, just the way you got around Tommy, like I know he you know, obviously such a tough week, mate, and you know, you took a little cone over to the car where he was sitting in his ute last Tuesday night, and you just went over and you said, listen, mate, I'm going to put a cone out here. If you want to jump on the cone, you know, we'd love to see you. If you don't, we totally understand as well. And he ended up jumping on the cone, and it's just a credit to you guys, the club, I reckon. You know, and I remember, mate, to be honest, the first night, the Monday night, and we kind of shared a couple of text messages, and it stuck with me. And I remember thinking at the time, you're 100%. You just said, you know, that's what we do out here, mate. We're just a great community, and we're a great club, and we're going to get behind this kid and this family as best we can. You've done that. And
on the back of that too, Macca, as we'll certainly let you come back and reply to that, but he's a wonderful player too, Tommy Bolsh, isn't he? Like, he's got a big future, and I know Bolshy got a hell of a lot of pleasure, you know, taking him here, there and everywhere, as you do as a parent. But, mate, he's a hell of a player too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, mate. He's, you know, he's, I don't know, 195, 196. You know, he's a good enough runner to make the state 800 metre final on basically without training for it or ever running any heats, just rocking up and having a go. You know, his running's unbelievable. And for a kid who's, that sort of tall, rangy kid who's missed a lot of footy as everyone has, but, that real through his important development age, the last 2 years, he's got a lot of upside. I actually think he's got a huge future, but probably won't be with us. But, his effort this week to come to training and train a bit on Tuesday night and then train Thursday and play on Saturday after the week he had was unbelievable effort, and a credit to him. And he knows that's what Bolshy will rhyme to do. But he's close mates. It's probably 4 or 5 of them that played seniors with him on the weekend, and then another 2 or 3 boys through the reserves and rounds that are real tight. They're a great, really tight bunch of kids. Those boys, they from time to time give me a fair bit of grief, to be honest. They can be a hassle, but it's because they're so tight. They look after each other so well, and this is a time where you appreciate your mates. And those boys, to their credit as well, they've been amazing. And those, along with us and the community and the footy club, will certainly make sure we're looking after him. That's for sure.
Yeah, good stuff, mate. Mac Peterson and Little Tacky and young McCosh, and there's a really tight little tight knit group, mate, and they've been enormous for their good mate Tommy last week, which I think is just he's absolutely brilliant, mate. And little Indy as well. We mustn't forget Indy and Jackie and the rest of the family. Macca, let's move along to Saturday, mate. Big contest. I know it's only round 2, but you've got a big couple of weeks because you've got the North Warrnambool Eagles this Saturday out at Bushfield. Originally it was panned for the Reed Oval, but it has been moved back out to Bushfield. And then you got the quick backup on Good Friday, taking on the South Warrnambool Roosters at the Friendly Societies Park. So you got a couple of really big games of football, haven't you?
Yeah, we have, mate. Yeah, we sort of, it's hard. We certainly didn't want to take any focus off round 1 because Hamilton are probably a team you're a little bit away. You don't sometimes hear as much about your Hamilton and your Portland a little bit, but so we certainly make sure we focus on round 1 and didn't want to be heading into this little sort of couple of games against a couple of really good opponents having dropped round 1. So we all our focus on that. We had a good result there, and now we look forward to North Warrnambool and South a following week. But so we've been pretty disappointing the way we've played against North the last couple of times. So I know the players and are pretty keen to play better and give ourselves a good chance at knocking them over, which will be a challenge for sure.
Hey Macca, I know it won't be do or die on Saturday. It won't be all the eggs in the basket. With Koroit, to me, you've always seemed to. It's been a timing thing. You seem to warm up as you go, and obviously it's about peaking then at the right time. If I could ask you, this is might be a difficult one, but what sort of percentage do you reckon you travel at early, as far as you're taking on North and then you're taking on South? You've had a nice win, but percentage-wise, how much improvement do you perhaps leave to when you're peaking, do you reckon?
Yeah, obviously we try and build through the whole year, always definitely. I think in previous years we have dropped a game or 2 along the way to, if you want to call them there's always 2 or 3 or 4 good sides. So, a couple of those sides have got us through the years each year, no doubt about that. We don't. We just play each game on its merit, mate. We'll go out there on the weekend, and if we play up to our, as well as we can, we think we can win. And if we don't, you won't beat a side like North Warrnambool unless you play really well. But, on the flip side of that, we'd like to hope that a North and a South, we're probably going to play them 3 times, potentially 4 times throughout the year. To think you could beat them 4 times in a year, those quality sides would be a big ask. So in saying that, I certainly won't be knocking back a victory if it's on the table, but we'll just go out and play. And if we win, we win, mate. If we don't, we don't. We'll move on and look at areas to get better next time we play them.
Yeah. Now, one of their big, firepowers is obviously their forward line. Vardy, Parrish, Lewis, 7, 6 and 6 last weekend. That was a goal-kicking spree. Your back 6, mate, always been a really good backbone. You think of McPherson, Mooney, Timmy Martin's another one. It's going to be just a tantalising kind of duel on the weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be, mate. I think, and all teams will be the same now. If we're going to leave it up to our back 6 to try and defend, we won't win. So we'll certainly make sure we're defending with more than just 6. If we let footy get into into those guys at pace without any pressure on, and too many times, and they will score. Same as the other end. If it goes in a lot to our end, Sammy Dobson, Kyra, Will Couch, Chum Need was really exciting on the weekend. We'll same thing. If we're getting plenty of looks, and we'll kick a big score too. So I think, we'll need our back six to play really well, but we'll need 18 of them to defend pretty well. Otherwise, we'll be chasing tail, I reckon.
And Macca, there's a few monster forwards in the competition. Well, not absolute monsters, but big forwards. I don't reckon we've got a lot of the big monster backs. And Vardy in particular is going to be one that, if you're just talking man on man, he's going to be terribly difficult to contain just his size. Have you got a thought process in who, you might be using to try and nullify him?
Yeah, I've got a few thoughts. I'm not sure if they're going to work, but I've been watching a bit of the vision from them on the weekend, and you look at that and go, well, gee, they're going to take a lot of stopping. But it's Stewie, you were up at the season launch, mate. Big Sammy Gordon was up there, and I'm looking at him going, I don't know whether he's grown or not, but he's an absolute giant, that bloke as well. And I'm like, my God, I don't think I'll get anyone to play on him. But you're right, Eyes. There's some big boys forward of the ball, and not many sides have big defenders. But
No.
So it's that. Do you play your best defenders on your best forwards? Do you play your strongest defenders on, weakest forwards? Not the right word. The good teams don't have weak forwards, but to try and intercept and drop off, it's a juggling act. With someone like, Parrish, Adam Wines, Vardy, and then obviously they're dangerous at ground level too. Yeah. You tend to go in with plan A, B, C, and hope you don't get to D and E with a bit of luck.
Well, like you said, it's how it gets delivered then, isn't it? That you're trying to nullify, but yeah.
That's exactly right. I want to ask you about the O'Sullivan boys, mate, the brothers. I did have a little training session out there in the pre-season, mate, and I was super impressed. Jack's just a monster of a kid, and he just works so hard, and he had a fantastic under-23 comp, mate. But the kid that I really was impressed with was Paddy. I think this kid's got a really bright future, as has Jack. But I just was really impressed that night out there. I like what I saw.
Yeah, they're extremely talented, mate. Jack's had a horrible run over the years with some injuries, some back issues and some groins and stuff. And he debuted. I don't know how many years ago now. He's probably 16, 17 when he debuted, played one game, when we were going really strong and did well, and then hasn't played much. But yeah, he was super impressive. He's a dangerous man at footy training, Jack. You've really got to watch out for him.
Especially when the coach tells him to clean you up, mate.
Yeah, no, when you get a bloke off the radio come and train, you certainly get Jack to have a crack at him. That's what you do. The only bloke that takes him on at training is Paddy. Paddy does. He is a dangerous man at training, but yeah, those two, they have a real good go, Jack and Paddy. And obviously there's Finno as well. He's in a boarding school. He's a top age under 16 player. I think he's just named vice captain up there at the Chargers. He's absolutely flying. Like he'll, if we get a look at him, he'll be playing seniors at some stage as well. So exciting, those boys. Paddy, we didn't play Paddy round one last year, Good Friday, when we opened, just because that was going to be his debut, first game. Thought, gee, it's a big ask for a first gamer. Brought him in the following week, and he didn't miss another game. And he's gone from wing, forward pocket, back pocket to starting on ball this year, and looks a really, really good player. So yeah, really exciting about where Paddy will be at, where he is now, let alone where he'll be at by the end of the year.
Yeah,
you've preempted my next question. If I can just ask Macca quickly, you said about young Finn, as one of the likely prospects that we might see. Who else, from a young point of view, are you ready to unveil either very early in the season or sometime throughout the year, Macca?
Yeah, obviously we're not. I don't think we'll get much off Finn. Obviously they've got school footy commitments. I think he'll, he's only near 10, but he'll play in their first 18 for sure. I would assume. Jamie Lloyd's a really impressive player who played his first game for the Rebels on the weekend, and he'll play early. He may even play this week. He's been super. He's a really, really good player. Young Connor Byrne, he'll be a bottom age under 18 player, made the Rebels list. Really dangerous player. Connor, we nearly played him last year as an under 16 player. He's only small, but he's just dynamic. He's a unbelievable mark for his size. He's powerful. That's Peter's son. Peter's a pretty good player. Peter's third in the Maskell one year. So Got those two boys. Paddy Haberfield's another one who's had a bad run with injury, and he'll be a year or two out on 18s. He'll play at some stage as well, no doubt. So there's a few others. Matty Bradley's actually one who's come across from South Warrnambool out of their under 18s. He's great mates with that group of boys we were talking about before, and he was enormous in the reserves on the weekend. He just kept marking the ball, and he's someone we put a lot of time into. He's a big lad, and we think he could be a key defender, key forward coming up pretty soon. So I reckon he'll get a look at it as well at some stage, I'd say.
Love it, Macca. It's going to be an absolute sensational game on Saturday, mate. Looking forward to calling it, and looking forward to seeing a couple of really good sides go at it this weekend. Thanks for your time as always, mate, and love talking to you, buddy.
Cheers, boys. You do a great job, so happy to help anytime.
Good on you, Macca. Thank you.
Yeah, what a good man. What a great man. And Adam Dowry just having a few technical issues tonight. He's got a bit going on, so can't get on the big phone. He's a school teacher too, so Wigsy, sorted out for next show. That is for sure. Hey, guys, it's going to be a big round of football. Obviously, our match of the day is out at Bushfield. It's going to be an absolute ripper. Other games, Hamilton take on the Warrnambool Football Club, both looking for their first win in season 2022.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting too as far as conditions go. It's going to be warm. I was just talking to Macca off air there just before, but conditions,
give me a nice day,
well into the 20s on Saturday. So that'll test sides out early in the year, won't it? So what's the first game we're looking at? I'm sorry.
No, so that was Hamilton and Warrnambool.
Oh, yes.
Kangaroos and Warrnambool.
Yep.
Next game, Terang Mortlake Port Fairy. Same. Both sides looking for their first victory in 2022. So big game, plenty on the line for both those teams.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. South Warrnambool taking on Camperdown. Both won their first games pretty comfortably. So that'll be a cracking game up at the Friendly Societies Park. And Portland taking on the Cod, the Bombers over at home. They'll be keen to make it 2-0, you would imagine. But Portland showed a bit last week against a pretty good team in South Warrnambool. So, Dan Casey doing a great job up there as well. Hey, listen, it has been a magnificent show, mate. Might I add, you've done a sterling job, mate.
I'll make it up as I go.
As I said at the top, no Trent Hill. He's out with COVID, of course.
COVID issues.
Poor old Hilly
I
at
was
the moment.
sad. I even hugged him at one stage in the box Saturday. So,
and you've,
but I've tested okay.
you've tested. You're looking magnificent, splendid as always. That is for sure. Hey, listen, get involved. We love the online shows. Been fantastic. Started last year, of course. Must thank Fitz Media and the crew. And as I said at the top, we must thank all our sponsors. Absolutely love what they do for the Hamden Football Netball League and the online stuff. It's just all been magnificent, and we can't do it without your wonderful support. And 3YB Coast FM, they don't get enough credit too. Hito and the crew down there, absolutely
I want to mention one more. I know there's lots of sponsors, but Mickey Works, Koroyd Hotel,
My oath, mate. Absolutely.
Who look after our quaddie competition. We've got a run for our money Saturday. We survived until we went off air anyway, but missed the last league. But Brucey Murley and the crew out there, and they've been wonderful supporters as well. But we want to thank Bruce. And if you're going through Koroyd at any time, pop in the facilities and the hospitality at Mickey Burke's is magnificent.
Absolutely, it is. Warrnambool Football Club 2 back on, of course. It was great to be up there. They looked after us unbelievably well on the weekend. Start Printing, Matt Henderson and the crew down there too. We love what they do. They've been great supporters of the Hamden League for such a long period of time. The Warrnambool Racing Club, of course, that's where all our events and that happen now. Kate Lindsay and Tom O'Connor and the crew really do a great job. It's a magnificent room, and I'm looking forward to the Maskell and the junior medal counts as well this year. R&M Security, they've been on board, Nat and the crew down for a long time. Paulie Lockwood and the team, as I said at the top, at Chittick's Pies, the official pie of the Hamden Football Netball League. Fresher Fruit Juice on board for the finals once again, of course. So the Flying Horse Bar and Brewery as well. Macy's Bistro, Cork Walsh and the crew. Rome at Britnell, great to have their support. And Toot Traffic. Of course, the Carter Group, a new sponsor of the Hamden Football Netball League, and you'll see the Carter Group Water Boys doing the rounds in the next couple of weeks, as well as the Frolic Bar Netball Umpires, okay, which I'll talk about more in the netball show.
You wouldn't have had much to do with getting that in.
It was magnificent.
Well done.
Magnificent. So, and a shout out to the Pit Stop Menswear, been a supporter and a sponsor for 30 years of the Hamden Football Netball League, and the MVP is all thanks to Pete and Lee Watson down at Pit Stop as well. So I think they're even going to deck us out in a little bit of Tommy gear at some stage too, Eyes, which is
great
which is
people, the Watsons.
sensational. You look good in a bit of Tommy gear too, I reckon.
I'll
mate.
take it.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, that wraps it up tonight for a magnificent show. As we said, get involved, get on board, and we hope you enjoyed the Hamden Online Footy Show.